Hey guys, this is Shaft, and welcome to IEM's Korean Taiwan round of 32. With me tonight is Stare, and I'm excited to present to you guys some of the absolute best games out there on the market today. Today we've actually got a rivalry going on, and we're going to get more into that. But first, Maddie, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself, Shaft?
Doing great, doing great. And
Good.
I wonder, are you as excited about these matches as I am today?
Oh, I am ecstatic for these. I am very curious, once again, no pun intended, to see how this goes.
Absolutely. And just a little information on what she was talking about, because here on Derelict Watcher, we have in the bottom left hand side of this map Startail Curious, who's actually going for an extremely early pull. Looks like that might have been a 10 pull, followed by, oh, that's just for Extractor Trick. But yes, Curious going for that super early pull. His opponent, Incredible Miracles Ragnarok. This is a player known for his BM, and these guys do have a little bit of a rivalry, as I mentioned earlier. In the GSTL, Ragnarok did knock Curious out of his team later on taking the victory, but Curious took the loss, so that cannot be sitting very well. That happening only a couple of days before this match was played. And then Curious now going for that cheese. So I wonder if that's playing a factor in his decision making here.
We'll see.
Sixlings on the way now. So actually, we've actually got lings being queued up at home as well. Normally, when you do a 10 pull like this with no gas follow up, you transition
Ragnarok's
right.
got a second base coming up,
Yeah,
so.
you transition right into drones and a queen, but he has chosen to go for lings and now taking a gas as well. As you mentioned, this base will make Curious a little bit. This attack by Curious a little bit stronger. Ragnarok's a little bit more vulnerable here. And wow, Ragnarok only getting a Spine Crawler about a third of the way through right now. And only 4 lings now on the way. Queen barely a third of the way through. This will have to be canceled, but he's going to wait till the very last minute because he doesn't want to give the lings a free ride right on into the mineral line. And there's that cancel, actually letting the drone get hidden, and he will probably go ahead and try to expand again soon. As soon as he can clear these lings off of the field.
There's the queen.
Yeah, going ahead, getting a good inject off. And now we're going to have that drone getting targeted down. Pretty good prioritization there by Curious. Curious is actually a much more well-known player, but Ragnarok's still very powerful, and playing on Incredible Miracles, a team with quite some history there. Some of the best players coming out of that clan. He's formerly from TSL, the SCV Life, but once they disbanded, he went teamless for a while, but just got picked up by IEM.
That was nice prioritization. He took out that drone before it could build that second base again.
Yes,
So,
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Well, we actually have Curious now taking his own expansion. So if you take a look at this real quick, you'll see that, well, actually, hold on. Sorry about that. See, this hatchery's at about 500 health here in just a second. There we go. Where this one's only at 400. So we've got about 6 or so seconds lead on Curious's expansion when Ragnarok first took his expansion, 2 or 3 minutes ago. So Ragnarok had to save up, cut drones to even start this expansion, and then those minerals just got wasted, unused. So that actually allows Curious to take a supply advantage.
yeah.
So we've got a lot of lings being produced now by Curious, who's also got a Baneling Nest. His opponent's Baneling Nest now finishing up, but it looks like there's just going to be a little bit more ling aggression. I wonder if he's going to try to incorporate Banelings in this attack or just wants them defensively.
Ragnarok just put down a spine crawler right near his ramp to his main base, so
Yeah, that's going to defend that against
yeah.
banelings. The two banelings are getting sent in now, so the queen's there to block, but there's also banelings there to defend for Ragnarok. Ragnarok tanking some pretty good shots with his banelings. There's a lot more lings there for Curious, so he's got to use the banelings to defuse that situation.
Yep.
Oh, super close there. Basically what's happening right now is that Curious is peeling off small amounts of lings to get baneling shots, just like that one there. Now 2 more lings are on the way, and it looks like he may lose that baneling if he sends off a couple more lings. Now Ragnarok's doing exactly the same thing, but the lings of Curious were able to surround the other lings and target those down. The real problem right now is that Ragnarok just does not have enough lings. He's continuing to make drones, which is super greedy, but if he can stay alive without taking any damage, it will be worth it.
Right.
Oh, 2 banelings wrapping around, 1 surviving. Getting picked off by that queen. Beautiful play there by Ragnarok. So back at home, we actually have Curious taking up 2 more gas. This may end up being a Mutalisk build. There's the layer 4th extractor. Yes, we are definitely going to be seeing Mutalisks this game. Looks like Curious may be doing the exact same build, actually.
Well, that'll lead to a pretty... I don't know how that's going to turn out. I guess
Well,
it's going to come down to whoever gets them out quicker.
Well, it'll be Muta versus Muta, which comes down to gas income. If you have... It's going to come down to who can take and hold a third. Because the gas income, if you get your 5th and 6th gas, will allow you to dominate the skies. However, there's a period from the time that your Mutalisks come out to when those 5th and 6th gas start actually making you money. That lings will dominate the field, and you want to pick off your opponent's third. We have Ragnarok just now taking a third and scouting with a Zergling his opponent's third to make sure that his opponent's not getting one. His third will be started first, so he wants to play a defensive position. That's all he wanted to know from that. So we've got about 11 lings just running across the map. Curious isn't hoping to, break his opponent with these, but if he can find a weakness, he'll definitely exploit it, and he found one. The Baneling does go off. Not very cost effective, either of those explosions. The second one much better than the first, though. And now these 5 lings are just running in for a scout. He sees 2 gas there at the natural. He's going to see the gas here in the main. And while he's trying to get off some ling kills, he's eventually going to go scout that 4th gas as well. Actually, no, he's just going with a Baneling. Great decision here. Now, Curious does have faster Mutalisks as well, and these Banelings will get cancelled. Nice decision making here by both players. So we have lings now harassing the third, as I was talking about earlier. This, again, whoever can kill off his opponent's third will be tons and tons ahead. You actually see Curious going ahead taking his 5th and 6th gas before the hatchery's even done. So he's really emphasizing those gas. And actually his opponent does not have his gas even starting yet. So this will allow Curious to basically have his third start mining gas at the same time as his opponent. Good decision making. Now Curious does have a ling advantage here. Remember, I said once the mutas start coming out, lings will have a small advantage, and this is that time. Queen drone kind of doing a good job defensively, but we did have a lot of workers killed there.
Yep.
So actually, Curious got about 200 more mineral income than his opponent. Again, both these players sitting on 4 gas, so getting the same gas income, but Ragnarok definitely behind on the units lost tab.
And they're both supply capped right now, so...
Well, it's interesting that Curious has a overall far lower APM than Ragnarok. Ragnarok is a very fast player, so that does explain some of these really crucial splits that we've seen from him as far as Banelings and Lings are concerned.
Yeah.
That could also play a big factor in the Mutalisk battle. Interesting, both players are going for Flyer Carapace level 1. That's going to make the Mutalisks do far less damage. Armor is definitely what you want to do against Mutalisks, both for your own mutas and your ground army.
Let's see.
Well, actually, dude, the supplies are, for all intents and purposes, tied right now. This is excellent play. Now we've got to be careful not to sacrifice any mutalisks to your opponent's mutalisks, and something some players do try to incorporate are sacrificing a couple of overlords in muta versus muta engagements just to tank attacks from your opponent's mutas. Oh, Ling's actually doing a lot of damage here, maybe killing off this queen. Oh, dude, if he could have killed off that queen, that would have been huge.
Now, do you think, being that their units are so closely numbered, almost the same, do you think continuing to do the same builds as each other would be more effective, or if somebody pulled something different?
Well, muta versus muta like this is basically going to come down to who can get the most gas. So they're just continuing to attack each other's gas lines. As you can see, Curious actually just killed off the 3 mining of that extractor. So what they're going to do is continue making the same units, but they have to find some way to get a gas advantage, because Curious just lost 2 mutas there for a mineral line, but he's got Ling harassment going on of a third of his opponent and targeting down those gas lines as well. So basically, even though he lost 200 gas for that, he has completely wrecked his opponent's gas lines. Actually, his opponent has 8 workers mining from 1 extractor right now. So this is just costing his opponent, you know, time, energy, gas, because he actually just lost a gas. This drone right here was carrying a gas and got sent over to a mineral line and did not return it. So it's really wrecking with his gas. Take a look at this third. Only 2 out of 3 mining from this extractor. That's a mistake. Ragnarok is getting torn apart by these minor engagements. I actually want to back this up for a second because I know I missed something there in the middle, but it's super important to actually notice, you know, the fact that, oh, getting a little bit of lag there, the fact that Red is screwing up his income. Alright, so we've got some muta positioning. You still there, Maddie?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Cool deal. Now it's interesting because Ragnarok has Lings underneath his mutalisks. How much damage do you think Lings do to mutalisks?
None.
Actually, you'd be wrong. Because,
really?
Well, think about the way mutalisks work. Their first attack hits for full damage. Then it bounces, does 33% less damage. Then it bounces a third time, does 33% less damage again. If you have armor, that goes way lower because it's you know, reduced each time. But if you have Lings there, well, it bounces to the Lings. So your mutas are bouncing to his mutas. His mutas are bouncing to your Lings. That's a lot of damage. And again with the gas line harassment.
And I just noticed that he has some Zerglings up in his main, but they just got taken off. So
yeah, but did you
he
see
just did some damage up there, took out a lot of drones.
Yeah, and he's harassing the gas lines again. Take a look at the right extractor in the main. 2 out of 3. So he finally fixed the one in the third, but if he's not mining properly, he's, you know, way behind on gas. You see how that works? So
yes.
Ragnarok is getting further and further behind on supply because of the gas income right now. Man, it looks like Curious making a mistake here as well. He's on 4 out of 3 drones at his third.
Yeah.
Wow, about to lose a queen and killing off a spore crawler as well. Curious just using his bigger muta numbers to wreck his opponent.
There he goes again with the Zerglings in the main, harassing that line, taking out. I think he's about to take out maybe all them drones.
Yeah, well, he's actually got 42, well, 37 now. Well, during this engagement, let's not worry about counting numbers. However, he does have 1/1 upgrades where his opponent's on +2 armor. We're about to find out which one's better. Well, still got a 5 muta advantage here for Curious, but it's getting lowered. Oh, wow, the +2 armor making a huge difference there. But those Lings not quite able to kill off the hatchery. He might send in a small death squad of wings just to go ahead and finish that off and wreck his opponent's gas, but he's also losing a lot of drones at his own third. Constant aggression is ZVZ. So where do you think these guys are going to go from here? Just keep back and forth with these pokes?
Oh well, that was. I kind of had a thought that maybe Ragnarok was gonna GG out, but I didn't know, and then it happened. I guess he was like, thought to himself, well, he's producing a tiny bit more than me, which is all he needs to take me. So you know what?
Right. Well, if you take a look at the main of Ragnarok, he had lost a lot of drones there.
Yeah, he lost all of them on that base.
And he has no gas income. So he's now on 4 gas compared to his opponent's 6 gas. And he was about to lose his 3rd hatch, which would have set him on 2 gas. There's just no recovering from that.
Right.
Beautiful game there by both players. Curious, showing why he's a better known and more successful player, but Ragnarok cannot be counted out just yet. He played a very good game there, very aggressive. Again, it all comes down to those gas lines in Muta vs. Muta. So what map would you like to see next, Maddie?
With ZVZ, I think a good map for that would probably be Whirlwind.
Haha! Guys, I swear to God, she did not know what map we were going on.
It's Whirlwind?
Yes, ma'am.
What a good call on my part.
Every Zerg loves Whirlwind, ma'am.
Yeah.
Every Zerg.
So good for expansion.
It is. You can take so many bases, but at the same time, Zerg is a game, ZVZ is a game of constant aggression. So, the thing about it is, you know, if you get too greedy with your expansions, your opponent's definitely going to kill those shits off.
Yeah.
Well, Curious is 1 game up, taking, you know, a very convincing 1-0 right there. So here we go. Startail Curious in the top left-hand corner of Whirlwind Ladder Edition. And Ragnarok, the end of days in Norse mythology, here on the bottom right-hand side. It's interesting that Ragnarok has a mythological name, meaning, you know, kind of like Revelations or the end of days in Christian mythos. But his name's Incredible Miracle. You know, his clan. Just, I've always found that interesting. I don't know. Either way.
Well, starting off, it looks like Ragnarok is already 1 drone ahead.
Well, what that's going to come down to is one player did an extractor trick and the other did not. So that's why one player had a drone advantage. And then
I mean, does that have any kind of effect on this game?
Well, it's not really that big of a deal. It basically means you get 1 drone earlier, but your opponent gets constant drone production rather than waiting for an overlord. You'll have to wait longer for an overlord and be a little supply blocked. Oh, and here we go. We've actually got a really early pull coming out for Ragnarok. I mean, this isn't a 10 pull or any kind of super early aggression. However, it isn't a fast hatch, which is what we're seeing out of Curious. And this is a huge map, so seeing even this kind of aggression's kind of interesting. Actually, Ragnarok taking a pretty quick expansion, even drawing a pentagram there. Pretty cool. But okay, so Ragnarok is doing a build that Symbol, his former teammate, is well known for. This is a pull into hatch build. He's delaying these gas and probably going to go for quick roaches.
I just noticed that Curious has not put down a spawning pool yet. Oh, or is that one? Yep. He just laid one down.
Well, it's about 400 health at this moment. The spawning pool has been up for 30 seconds now. Yeah. Production tab for the win. Actually, ZVZ, Tastosis jokes a lot that early game ZVZ, all you have to do is stare at the production tab and wait for the first spawning hole.
And there we go. Curious just got his second up.
Yep.
Second.
And now what we want to see is when does someone make at least 8 lings. Anything less than 8 lings is basic scouting. 8 lings, though, will be a little bit of aggression.
Researching his metabolic boost already. Good. Let's see.
Well, Ragnarok doesn't even know where his opponent is until just now. Curious neither, so this is still a game of scouting. Ragnarok getting a small advantage here. Well, there's the Baneling nest, and it looks like Ragnarok's just trying to buy some time. He's going to sacrifice this Ling, but it's going to be worth it for information. Now, we have a Baneling's nest coming out for Curious, but there is not one for Ragnarok. So Ragnarok definitely going to be working on that Roach Horn here in a few moments.
So, when it comes down to that, who do you think has the upper hand in this so far?
I really like Ragnarok's Roach build. This is a build I use myself. It's very defensive. It means you can get a lot of drones. You go ahead and get layer very, very quickly without getting Ling speed. You go ahead and get your evolution chamber, as you're seeing right now. Excuse me. And what that's gonna do is allow you not to spend gas, not to waste gas. Go ahead, get to the mid game, get your roach speed, get your +1 attack, and then hit a very early timing attack. So while it does allow your opponent to get a third, that third has a giant bullseye on it because you are building to a devastating timing attack, and all your opponent can have right now are speedlings if he's taking a third. Going ahead, killing off a little bit of creep there, but another creep tumor does go down. Ragnarok not having any damage done to these queens. Roach Warren now finishing. There is the glial reconstitution, otherwise known as roach speed. We've got the second and third gas now taken, and there's the +1 attack.
Here's a question, being that I don't typically play Zerg, so I don't know much about the plays. Why do they build more queens than they actually need to?
Creep spread.
Okay.
Yep. Now, we actually have a Roach Warren coming out for Curious. However, his upgrades are behind, but he's getting double upgrades. The timing attack now has a window on it. He has to attack before these upgrades finish. So, an upgrade does take 160 seconds. That is 2.5 minutes, or just slightly more. We're going to have to see. Curious. On the economic side, he's going to be the defender. We actually have Ragnarok now taking a third. However, he has to commit to a timing attack. He's really just burning off some minerals right now because he's kind of floating. He was kind of floating a lot in comparison to his gas. So now he's just going to keep pumping out roaches, 9 on the way, and then move out. However, his opponent's got a really good Overlord spread and can basically see anytime that Ragnarok moves out. However, he's just going to go for it.
So, is the difference between having 2 Roach Warrens compared to Curious's 3, will that make any difference?
I'm sorry, 2 Roach Warrens?
Yeah.
There should only be 1 Roach Warren for each player.
Well, never mind. Evolution Chamber, my bad.
Oh,
Excuse me.
yes, yeah, sorry. Okay, well, hold on that thought. We've actually got a attack here at the third. It's basically killing off a bunch of drones being forced to defend. Ragnarok doing a lot of damage here. He will lose all of his roaches just simply due to the defender's advantage. Oh wow, actually maybe not. Those upgrades playing a huge role, but 1-1 now about to finish for Curious. Basically what's going on is the +1 attack was able to start sooner.
I think that
might be game actually.
I think that might be.
But to answer your question, +1 attack he only got one upgrade, so he was able to start it sooner, which means his attack was able to arrive sooner. His opponent getting 2 evolution chambers meant that was just going to be delayed. He didn't have the gas to use both of them, so why have them? So yes, it did play a huge role, and I think that's what ultimately lost the game. Ragnarok coming back with a vengeance. That's a super powerful build. I really am kind of disappointed and curious for not knowing that Ragnarok was going to hit that timing and executing a little bit better there. Everyone knows TSL Zergs are heavily influenced by Symbol, Revival, all those good Zergs. TSL was a team that was, despite their name, Team SCV Life, what had the best Zergs in the industry.
Yeah.
Well, we are... oh, go ahead.
I am very excited to see this last match.
Yeah, the third game of this best of 3. We're at a 1-1 tie score between Ragnarok and Curious. Which of these 2 players can win, satisfying the terms of their rivalry? Remember, Ragnarok did knock Curious out of the GSTL just a couple of days before these matches were played. Are you familiar with the GSL?
I am familiar with it, but lately I haven't been following it, so I'm not quite up to date on all that. So.
Gotcha. Well, the GSTL is a team league run by GOM TV as well. It's casted by the Code A casters usually. However, you know, there's always some great games in there, and as you can see, these guys are both excellent players. Well, here we go on the top left-hand side of Belshir Vestige. It is the red Zerg player going for a pull before gas build in that last match. This is Incredible Miracles Ragnarok! I don't know why I did that, it just felt fun. And on the bottom right-hand side of this map, we have our blue Zergy McFerguson. It's Star Tales Curious. Now, Curious is a player that has made a well-deserved name for himself. However, he has teammates. Wow, 9 pull. Teammates with a player like Startail Life, who loves aggression, which is what I was about to say when he decided he was going to be an asshole and build a spawning pool. Wow, completely ruined that. Now, the interesting part is, if you look on the other side of the map, there's a spawning pool for his opponent. So what happens when both players go for a 9 pool? This is going to be fun. That's all I know. I think what this will really come down to is which player pulls drones to soak a couple shots and do a little extra damage. Because if you pull all your drones, you're both going 9 pull, you're gonna have to go home. So you've lost mining.
It looks like they're going on the same time for everything so far.
They
so they're
might
right
just
on
meet
the
in
dot.
the middle. They might just meet in the middle.
You think maybe this is going to be kind of like the first match where they kind of had almost the exact same thing, but one just had the upper hand slightly?
They are going opposite directions, dude. They are going opposite directions. This is going to be interesting. They are both going to arrive at the opponent's base with nothing to defend. Oh my god. Ah! Okay, it's scouted. Looks like Ragnarok's sending majority of his forces home. He's sending just one Ling there to harass the shit out of this line. The problem is there's a queen there, so this is a completely useless Ling. I don't know what the hell he's thinking.
Well, that was interesting.
Well, actually, we've got Lings here on the top of the ramp. Curious, gonna have to fight into a convex. Never a good thing.
Maybe, I think he might be kiting him out.
It's possible, dude. This is basically going to be a stalemate. So what I want to see is who switches into drones first. Looks like Ragnarok building 2, Curious only building 5. And here we go. Queen coming in to defend as well. One interesting thing about this map is that the creep does extend to the ramp. Okay, here we go. Actually, there's a lot more lings here for Curious. Ragnarok being forced to make some more defensive lings and forced to give up the ramp. So he could actually lose a queen here if he does not keep it in the perfect position. Drone's not getting targeted down. He's going to have to defend with some drones, though, because there's still a lot of lings left here for Curious. Oh, wow. Curious
6 lings, no, none left for Ragnarok. Looks like he's got some coming out, though.
And Curious is just droning up behind this. Not only did he just kill drones, but he's already up on drones. He's 24 drones to his opponent's 16.
Yep.
And he's only behind on 1 speedling. No, this is ridiculous, dude. Wow, Baneling Nest coming out now for Startail Curious. He can really afford it. Both players now expanding as well. The problem, though, is that Ragnarok has not really secured his natural, and that's some major harassment. Now, that little bit of delay right there costed his opponent about 10 seconds there, 24 seconds. Now 28 seconds on that hatchery, and 14 seconds. Oh my god. That means he'll be able to begin a drone 14 seconds earlier. That's another drone advantage. Because guess how long a drone takes to build? Who
would you like to see win this match?
I don't know. I really don't know yet. Ragnarok just got ling speed, so I think that gives him an advantage. Maybe he can make it work. I don't know, man. Ragnarok's the underdog. I always like to pull for the underdog, but Curious is one of my favorite Zerg players. I love his ZVZ. I am torn, man. I am torn. If one of them went for a particular build I was super fond of, you know, I'd root for them, like Ragnarok in that last match. But these guys are mirror image builds. I want the best player to win, and neither of them have shown who's the best player. You know, it's 1-1, and we're in a on the edge of your seat game here. So I don't know. I want the best player to win, and I'm not sure who that is.
Yeah, it's really hard to tell when they do stuff like this, almost exactly alike.
Yeah, such good play, man. Such good play. Ragnarok keeping those banelings alive. Oh my god. Ragnarok actually peeling off a little bit too many lings there, but defending his own banelings, and that's way more important. The gas on banelings are really what makes them so expensive. Queens staying alive, extra queens coming as well. Curious at home, building a spine crawler in case of counterattacks, but keeping up the pressure. And actually, we have a Ragnarok now building an evolution chamber.
Does he see those banelings? Oh, yep, there he goes.
Dude, I actually feel like Ragnarok is playing the better game here. Curious is a very strong and very macro-oriented player, but Ragnarok is so strong. I don't know, man. I don't know. Curious. That's my final answer.
Alright.
So actually we've got 2 gas here, 2 gas here. We've got Mutalisk coming out for Curious. And I'm not sure about Ragnarok. He might be going for that Roach build. The thing is, in Zerg vs. Zerg, you've got a rock, paper, scissors element. A beats B beats C, but C beats A. And A is roaches with upgrades. B, which is beaten by A, is lings with upgrades. C, which is beaten by B, is Mutalisks with upgrades. And then Mutas beat roaches. Yep. So we've actually got a build order advantage going to Curious now. Huh. Wonder which player is going to manage to hold their third. Ragnarok now taking one at the same time as Curious. So it's going to be some pressure. I feel like Ragnarok's going to have to hit a earlier timing. And he's basically trying to replicate his last game. Curious actually being able to target down Ragnarok. Ragnarok does not have that many units in order to defend
there
it.
Goes his third.
Cancel. Yep.
Well, at least he canceled that enough time and saved some minerals, you know?
Yeah, but he lost the drone, so...
Right.
Ouch. Ultimately costing him 115 minerals with the loss of the drone and the lost minerals there on the hatchery, and we actually have Curious sending in a death squad of lings yet again. Now there are banelings here for Ragnarok. Unfortunately, there's just not that many lings. Oh, here we go. There's a nice clump of lings for Curious, but the roaches are on the field now, doing a great job defending. Ragnarok actually moving very, very ahead as far as supply is concerned, but he's got roaches. Oh, that was close. I thought one of those banelings might have connected, but killing off a single ling, bruising a baneling. Again, Roach is there to defend, though. But the Mutalisks are here, so he'll be able to just target down this basic no anti-air situation. For Ragnarok, Ragnarok actually sacrificing a queen to the gods of Mutalisks, but there's plenty of other queens here to defend. No spore
So I
crawlers
think that
down
might
yet.
be the turning point. I think I might personally be pulling for Curious also, since he whipped out those Mutalisks.
Yeah, but we got spore crawlers coming down. Spore crawlers are great against Mutalisks. The thing is, a spore crawler when building, and by the way, that did not get canceled, does not have armor, so Mutalisks do not do well, or do amazing against those. Whereas they do terribly once they're finished. Hydralisk's Den is complete, however, Hydralisks don't do that well against Mutalisks until you get large numbers. And as you can see, the drone count of Ragnarok is just getting devastated. He basically
just
got caught
noticed
with his
something.
pants down. What's that?
Down in Curious's base, he just fixed it, but he only had 1 out of 3 drones on both gas lines, so.
Yeah, well, basically, Ragnarok's only defense is sending in counterattack squads of lings at this point. Or even roaches sometimes, and he was probably targeting down extractor drones. I missed that, but Curious definitely is focused on his Mutalisk harass as I was. This is a game of like teeny tiny actions stacking up rather than big super ones that, you know, win in one big hammer anvil blow.
Looks like he's supply capping them. That was a good move on his part.
Absolutely. Now Ragnarok forced to make 2 overlords, 3 overlords now at one time. Never a good situation. Wow. These Mutalisks worth their weight in gold. Let's see how many kills each of these have just by themselves. Ah, my mouse messing up. Not good. 4 kills on that one. 9 kills on that one. 9 kills on that one. 0 on that one. 1 on that one. 4. Crazy stuff here. And he's actually targeting down the extractor. Remember, Hydralisk cost a lot of gas. I believe it's 100 minerals and 50 gas per Hydralisk. So taking out those gas lines. Huge.
So how are Hydralisks against Mutalisks?
They do well once you can get a large number of them. They also have good attack upgrades. So the Mutalisks are going to melt in a straight up engagement, but Hydralisks are very slow. So it will all come down to economics and positioning. Keep him from getting too much gas, which stops him from getting too many Hydras. If he does get too many Hydras, don't engage them. This is an engagement. Roaches do great against banelings, Hydras do not. So he wants to force the banelings into the Hydras and then follow up with the mutas. Alright, so we've got +2 ranged attacks coming out of Curious. So he's going to be switching into his own Roach Hydra at this point. He's only using the mutas to secure his 3rd, probably take a 4th, and then just hold map presence. He's actually got an 80 supply lead right now, so you can just see the snowballing. Now he's going to take the exact same composition as his opponent. Whatever his opponent chooses to make, he's just going to mimic it. Because now that he's got a better economy, why gamble with different compositions when you can just out-macro, out-produce him on whatever he chooses to make?
Correct.
If you take a look at the units lost tab, there's a huge lead here for Ragnarok. And actually, Curious just about to send all his roaches and choke his opponent out. I actually don't see Ragnarok surviving this. We're going to find out, though.
I think you're right.
Yep. Ragnarok thought so, too. Well, guys,
Oh,
this is Shaft of the Clan Casting crew. I'm glad you tuned in. That was an excellent match, a great series, best of 3. The IEM Korean Taiwan round of 32. Matt Astaire joined me tonight. What were your thoughts on that match? Because, wow.
that when it's the mirror matches, it's hard to tell right off the bat, but later on into the game, I think it was starting to get clear that Curious was going to pull through and end up winning. But honestly, I think I'm very okay with this result
Yeah, I
because
think
I'm
we
a
were
little
both pulling for
biased.
Curious.
So
Yeah, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am. Well, thank you for joining me tonight. It looks
no
like the
problem.
sun is coming up. So, here in North America, over here in North Carolina, good old Southern boy. But, yeah, with that being said, this vampire's heading to bed. Glad you guys tuned in, and I'll see you next time. We're going to have some more casts by myself here with the IEM stuff. Maybe another special guest, depending on who's on. Maybe even Matt Astaire again. Let us know in the comments what you think. If you want to hear more of her, please let us know. This was her very first cast, brought to you by the Clanning Casting crew. Guys, thanks for being awesome.